Well, hello everyone. Today's video I almost decided not to put out, but I thought better of it. It's my first roll of infrared film and things didn't go to plan. I got a few failures as well as successes. Actually, I feel I got more failures than successes. So I thought I'd still show the video with my failures and my successes. So let's get on with it. Hello everyone. Today, new location. I'm at a place called Blagdon Rings. It's a place I've driven round many a time, but not actually stopped in. Always looked a bit like just a field to me and not worth going to. Last week I went for a dog walk around here and it was really quite lovely, so I thought I'd come back with the camera and see what I can get. I mean, it's a lovely day. Broken cloud. I'm not sure if you can see over there. You can see the sea, but there's great views across the countryside. It's so pretty, and I think this place will be even better in spring when the bluebells are up. Anyway, I'm going to walk on. There's a little wooded section that I'm currently walking to, which is really nice for photography location, I think. It's round the rings itself. You can see them starting there, and it's nice, very sort of hidden grotto-ish place in places. So anyway, I'm going to walk up to the first bit of wooded section on this path, trying to dodge a sheep shit, which is everywhere. I didn't do very well last time. I came back with covered in sheep shit, but I've been a bit more careful today. As you can see, the bluebells are past their best, but I think it would have looked absolutely stunning about a month ago. Yeah, I need to come back here in just in a year's time. Oh man, yeah, would have looked really good. Yeah, definitely one for the books. I think there's so many opportunities in this location for a good photograph, depending on the conditions you go, but I think, you know, various conditions, this place will still look quite nice. Anyway, I think this is my first location for a shoot. These gnarly trees, the dappled light, I think it's got potential, so I'm going to quickly set up. Well, today it's going to be something new for me. I'm going to do some infrared photography. I've never shot proper infrared photography before, so this is going to be a bit of an experiment, I think. I've done a lot of Googling and a lot of research, so I think this is a good subject for it, and I better stop waffling and start setting up. Yeah, so I'm going to be shooting film today, as I said. My camera doesn't fit in the bag, so I have to dismantle it all to get it in there, but never mind. At least I can dismantle it, and at least I can get it in the bag. I'll put the viewfinder on and the motor drive, which, as you know, I hate. One more thing, I better change my film back. Currently I've got Kodak Portra on there, but I'm going to put my other film back on, which has got the infrared film in there. Okay, well, I don't believe my camera at the moment. I'm metering off my camera because I can't find my light meter, which is a mistake. So I'm going to use my phone app. Yeah, because at the moment it's saying even at 4 seconds and ISO 400, I'm underexposed at 4 seconds, which, yeah, that's bollocks. Anyway, so I got 1/6 of a second on there, which isn't too bad. Now, I've got to put a filter on because I'm shooting infrared. This is where it gets fun. Now, I've done, as I said, loads of Googling. I'm not sure how this works out. I mean, as you can see, it's almost black. So put that on there, screw it on. Let's put the mirror up. Let's put the cable release in. Right, as I said, 1/5 of the second. Let's call that 1/5 of the second. Because I've got the filter on, that's approximately 6 stops. So let's just work this out. I'm not going to do this in my head because it'll be just wrong. I'm going to do it on the calculator. Oh God, it says 10 seconds. Reciprocity, so I'm going to have to shoot this for about 20 seconds, I think. Oh dear. Cable release on. Let's lock it out. Schoolboy error. Got to take the dark slide out before I can take a photo. So anyway, my first photo is usually crap, so I'm going to take another one in exactly the same way, so hopefully one of the two is okay. This was the first image I'd ever shot on infrared film. While the result is interesting, it's not really what I intended. It almost looks like a winter scene, which I think was partly because I shot it in quite a shaded area. Infrared film definitely seems to work better in strong sunlight. There was also a fair bit of wind moving the grass and leaves, which added to the softness. Still, for a first attempt, I quite like the atmosphere it created. If you shoot infrared and can tell me where I went wrong, please leave a comment below. Well, this scene is lovely. Not sure if I can photograph it today. I'm going to give it a go. I've only got the one lens with me. I've only got one lens for this camera actually, and it's a 50mm equivalent. I think I would have liked something a bit wider, possibly a 35mm equivalent, or even wider than that, but I just don't have that, so I've got to make do with what I've got. Well, that's slightly annoying. I've just accidentally pressed the shutter and wasted a frame of film. When you only have about 15 shots on a roll of film, that is quite annoying. But anyway, this next shot is going to be about 4 seconds long, so I'm going to take it now. This is one of those images where I simply liked the scene. I was experimenting massively at this point and honestly had no idea how it would turn out on infrared film. But when I saw the result, there was just something about it I connected with. The branches and glowing foliage almost remind me of a Japanese painting. The scans I'm currently getting back are only basic lab scans, and I'm convinced there's more detail and tone hidden in the negative. So much so, I'm actually considering getting this photo drum scanned. So hopefully I've done my calculations correctly and I've got the shutter speed correct. I won't know until about a week's time when I get the photos back. So I'm going to walk on a bit further. I'm going to take a photo of this avenue of trees again, but from the other directions, from the direction I've just walked from, because obviously the light will be in a different direction and it will possibly look a lot more different than the previous shot. For this next shot, I spent a little time adjusting the camera position, just to stop the trees on the right from merging together and to create a bit more separation between the trunks. It's a small detail, but those little changes can really help improve a composition. This image is probably one of the failures from the roll, but I still wanted to include it because I think showing what goes wrong is just as important as showing the successful shots. I definitely messed up my exposure settings here, and at the time I'd actually misplaced my light meter, so I was relying on guesswork more than I should have been.
The result is very flat and overexposed, with most of the tones blending together. But despite that, there's still something I quite like about it. It almost has this spectral, ghostly feel, like the trees are appearing through fog rather than being photographed directly. It's definitely not a successful infrared landscape image, but as part of learning the process, I think it still has value.
So I'm slightly worried. That last exposure was, I calculated to be a minute. I'm slightly worried because I just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this is the first time, as I said, I've shot with infrared film. So I know one thing for sure. They're going to be my best infrared photos I've ever taken. But on the same time, they're also going to be my worst. So I'm not going to know for a week or so what they're like. Yeah, the joys of film. So let me show you this filter. That's the infrared filter I'm using. You can see it's almost black. Oh well. I'm going to go and move on and find something else to photograph now. So I can't be bothered to pack my camera and tripod away. I'm just going to carry it to the next location. I think that's easier. Well, what I really liked here is a lone tree. As you can see, I don't really have that here. But what I have got is this quite interesting tree against the blue sky. Now I think that will look quite good. Hopefully the blue sky will go black and the tree will glow. So I'm going to set up here and take this photo.
This is probably the most typical infrared image from the roll. Bright glowing foliage, dark skies, and that classic surreal look infrared film is known for. Composition wise, I think it's okay, but this image also taught me something quite important. Infrared on its own doesn't automatically make a great photograph. What it can do is make an otherwise fairly ordinary scene feel a little more interesting or atmospheric. I still think composition, light and subject matter just as much as they do in normal photography. Infrared is more of a tool than a shortcut.
That was slightly frustrating. I think I've got the shot and it looked quite good in the viewfinder at least, but frustratingly I wasted another frame of film, so yeah, that's quite annoying. So anyway, I'm done. Just taking my final shot of this oak tree.
This was the final frame I shot that day, and I think compositionally it's probably a little stronger than the previous image. The detail in the grass gives the foreground a bit more interest, and the shape of the tree works quite well against the sky. Like the previous image, it still has that classic infrared look with the glowing foliage and darkened sky. At this point I was still very much experimenting and trying to understand how the film reacted to different light and scene.
Done all of my photographs. I think I've wasted 5 frames of film with the bloody motor drive and cable release issues that I had last time, so I've got to sort that out, because that is just a waste of money when a roll of film costs between 12 and 20 quid and then 20 quid for developing. Yeah, I don't want to keep doing that.
Infrared film feels a little strange to me at the moment, mainly because this is the first time I've ever shot it. So right now I genuinely have no idea if the scenes I'm looking at now will turn into those dark skies and glowing white trees infrared film is known for. It slows photography down again.
Thankfully I don't have long to get back to the car. It's only about a minute of that to walk back. It's just started to rain and look at it behind me. It's just going to get heavier and heavier. So I'm glad I got out while there was some sun about. Well, hopefully some of those photos came out. Won't know until I've looked at them. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and until the next video I will see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye. Well, hello, it's me again. Obviously that video didn't go as planned. Quite a few failures in there, but I honestly learned quite a bit from my failures. Well, first of all, I've dug up my light meter. A lot of the exposures on the film I wasn't happy with. I've obviously overcooked it on a lot of them. They were massively overexposed. Obviously my light meter on my camera isn't up to the job, and I was worried about that during the filming process, that the exposures just look wrong, and you could see that on a couple of frames they are massively overexposed. So looking at my photos again here, I can see that not all compositions work successfully. Some are definitely worth exploring and some were typical infrared shots. So I think I've learnt a lot there, what to repeat, what not to repeat and what to work harder on. But overall, I don't think this roller film was a complete failure. There's definitely some successes on there and some stuff to work on. So I'm going to take some positives away from that because I was very deflated when I initially looked at the photos, bar a couple of them. But onwards and upwards, and until the next video, I shall see you later. Bye.